coming through in devastation, New York, boy. Woo. But we have a great show tonight. We got some prizes to give away. Ron showing my parking garage shirt will be in Phoenix November 5th at the F9 event. We'll get into that on a different show. But we have the F9 cookbook. We're going to give that away tonight, Ron. Listen to it. We got a lot of great prizes. We got a Heath Phelps book we're going to give away. But we got some big-time prizes. Two of them. Two of those books we're giving away. Ron and I love to give back. We like to get sponsors. We like to get names out there so you guys can all learn who these people are that really want to help the industry and they sell great products. But I am very excited tonight to announce our guest. But before I do, we got prizes being given out. We got Ron's giving it. Look, he's Ron's gonna. Most of our shows giving away prizes, but we got some great prizes. First off, the PWNA, they are sponsoring the show tonight. They are going to give away one contractor membership to a lucky winner tonight. It's valued at $350 for the whole year's contractor membership. That's going away tonight. The PWNA certification class at the IWCA convention, which is February 7th to 11th in Orlando. The PWNA is going to give away. Now, you have to go to the convention for this, obviously. They're going to give away one certification class of your choice. They are certification classes they have are house washing. They have roof washing, flat work. I have that one. I use that. And wood restoration. They value between $199 and $295. So we're going to give one of those away. And then Paul Collin, the IWCA executive director, has offered up a free IWCA pass for the convention. Non-members, that's a $349 value. So total on that is $994 just on the two orgs alone. They're giving that away. And then Ron's got other stuff. But without further ado, I'm going to announce our next guest. He's the only one I know in all my years in this industry, and Ron has been in longer, that is serving simultaneously two nonprofit boards, and it's Jorge Aguilar. Hey, George, how are you, buddy?
What's going on, guys? Ron, what's up?
How are you? I'm allowed to speak now. You're here.
What's going on?
Let her rip, man.
John, where did you meet? Where did you meet George at?
I met George in 2016. I think it was Charleston, George, right? Charleston.
Yeah, that's right.
PWNA convention. I was hanging with Perry Tate, and he introduced me to George. We had dinner together.
And we met in NOLA, I think, either in 9 or 10. I don't know what year it was. But
I think it might have been 2009. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we met. We met at the NOLA event. That was a crazy event.
That all New Orleans events were.
I don't remember anything, man.
Admit them
After
the first day, that's about it. Everything else is a little.
I know we met, man, but I don't know what happened.
You gotta hope nobody recorded.
After that, I don't know what happened. I know that there were some cell phones being smashed at that event. I remember that.
A lot of things happen in New Orleans we don't remember, and some we don't want to mention, and
that's
some
right.
we can't forget.
That's it, right. Man. That's it.
That's right. And you know, guys.
So George, now the IWCA and the PWNA have joined up. Right here on the ticker below, you guys can go register, pwna.org or iwca.org. The show today in Orlando, it's on the 7th of February through the 11th next year, technically next year. Yes. But at least there's a show it's going to happen. Now, you guys actually had your show in February this last year as well, right? And it went off?
It actually moved to March, but yes, it did go. It did go, yes.
Yeah, did everything go well with it, or not as good as you anticipated, or?
Everything went okay. Yeah, I mean, we definitely had a good turnout. It was in Orlando as well. We had it moved from Vegas just because of the restrictions in Vegas, but it went pretty good. Yeah, we had I'm guessing probably 300 people or something like that. You know?
Yeah. And the IWCA typically, you know, people always, you know, I want to say this I want to give IWCA credit where credit's due. People always judge these events by the number of attendees.
Right.
And it's really about the content of the event. It's not it's nothing to do with whether there's 10,000 people in an event or whether there's not. Because I can tell you this, one of the smallest events I was ever at was in Denver, and it was an IWCA deal. And it was probably one of the most, I got the most out of this event than any event I probably have ever attended in my life. And I wanted to say this, that if anybody doesn't understand or know about the IWCA, I think that they've bridged the gap between customer associations and contractor associations with the safety standards better than anybody's done it in probably the history of organizations. Hats off to the IWCA.
Another
for doing
thing that the IWCA has is also Osha Alliance, so that really helps with the safety aspect.
Right. Yeah, you know, Ron, I remember years ago to IWCA, back when Jim Grady was the president, they set a standard with that hook, whatever it's on the building. They got that recognized, and that's such a big thing in this industry. It's only without counting the hood stuff, it's the only org I know is able to set a standard that's acceptable practice. The only one. I can't think of anybody else in our industry. That's you. IWCA has got a great reputation.
Yeah, I mean, they've done it. They built those alliances with, I'm not going to mention the customer orgs, but they built with customer orgs that really, you know, lots of guys out there, there's a lot of talk, why should I join an organization? Why should I be a part of it? And they don't really, I don't think they understand that it's not really about what you're going to be able to get from the associations. It's going to be able to be what you can contribute as a member. And when members start to contribute, other members benefit. Everybody benefits from it. And I think the IWCA's really done a really good job at safety. I mean, think you guys are, George, John didn't really ask what you do. Let these guys know what you do. Tell them a little bit about your business.
So I started as a one-man single show back in 2006, doing residential window cleaning, and then built that up to build into commercial. And then in about 8 years ago, we went national high-rise. So we do Kansas City, and well, I'm out of Kansas City. We do residential and commercial window cleaning, and then we go around the country partnering with window cleaners and power washers to do high-rise buildings. So we help out all of the guys that don't do it, that get the calls in their city. We help them out to be able to knock out towers.
I know John's got some questions.
No, you know, I'm gonna go back to that because so you guys do. Yeah, I got a lot of questions. You guys, so you're traveling for the high-rise stuff. Is that for power washing and window cleaning, or just window cleaning?
Right. We do wash buildings. We more soft wash than power wash. Yes. So we do hang off buildings doing high-rise.
Now, what about the glass itself? Do you also caulk the windows if you have to? And all that stuff?
No, we don't do any caulking. We just do window cleaning and power washing, soft washing.
All right, so let me ask you this, George. So you started in 2006 residential. I started residential. I think Ron, you were always commercial, right? You never did residential.
Always, man.
When you started residential,
drive me nuts, man.
So I like residential because instant payment. Outside of that, I love commercial. But so what got you to go from residential? How did you make that step, that leap from residential, maybe 2 stories high? First of all, what was the tallest building you ever rappelled down?
So far in my life?
Yeah.
40 stories.
40 stories, Ron. Hey, let's send Ron down one of those.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Ron, come on.
I could never go off the edge of a building. That rope would snap on me, man.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to try that one day. My wife's in the other room, she'd kill me. But what made you go from, how did you know that you can do residential and then just suddenly go up that high? I mean, what gave you that instinct that you can do that? Or you just did it?
So 2 things. One, when I started window cleaning, I was trained in high-rise, and I fell in love with it. I've loved it ever since I started doing it back in 2000. I started window cleaning in 2004, and so I started the business in 2006. The other is I took a 10,000-mile trip with Perry Tate back. I don't even know, it was 2016, 17, somewhere around there.
Right.
And I didn't know. But during our conversations, I found out he had a background in franchising out of Australia. He used to sell window cleaning franchises in Australia. So we had, 20-some days to talk about and really think about, me potentially doing this in the U.S. And the cool thing about it was the fact that I already knew all the window cleaners and power washers. I just had to go out there and, get the insurance and get the equipment and get the word out. And I mean, that's really what we did, and that's what we're still doing to this day. That's why we attend as Empire, we attend all of the conventions and make friends. So going back to what Ron said, I personally first attended conventions, and I treated it as my college when I was 19 years old, 20 years old, starting my business,
Wow.
and I never went to college. So I treated going to the conventions and learning, and the biggest part was meeting the people like you guys that had already done stuff and that I could, eventually call up on the phone. Before I used to just take notes throughout the year and go to the conventions and try to pick out the right guy to ask the right question to. But eventually I can just pick up the phone now and call my friends, with the issues that I may be having. And, luckily nowadays I also get to, pick up the phone and help out guys that I've met throughout the times. And that's
Nice.
where the magic really happens. You know what I mean? Like, it is cool to join an organization and say,
Right.
well, what can you do for me? But eventually it's really what can you do for yourself in the start, and how much are you willing to go to
Right.
make friendships. And then also at the end, like now, my passion safety, man. I'm gonna die a window cleaner teaching safety, and now I'm thankfully being able to give back to everybody. So
Right.
You mentioned something, George. I got a question for him. It's not really a question. It's kind of a statement. Like, people don't realize the power in mentoring, not getting mentored, mentoring. They don't understand that when you're mentoring somebody, you are staying sharp. You are keeping all those skills at the top of your mind, and you're being reminded. And it's like, it's not like riding a bicycle per se. It'd be more like practicing an instrument before a recital. If you don't practice that instrument before the recital, you're going to suck.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you're practicing this stuff and you're helping people, you always stay sharp with those skills. And I mean, you talk about safety, you're talking about your skills. It's a live or die situation. And I got a question. Have you had a rescue at all on a job site?
On a job site, like, have we had to rescue one of our guys?
Yes.
No, never. We never.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
We have I built a training facility here in Kansas City, and we have a 5,000 square foot areas that we practice on. I train my guys. My guys train. The new guys are 20 to 30 days before we get them out in the field, and we have luckily never had any issues with.
What's good here, Rod? George, the big thing I learned about being involved with organizations is success breeds success. It really, really does. So I go to these conventions. I meet people like George. I met George. I met Perry Tate. I met a lot of guys at conventions, and it breeds success. But one of the gold nuggets I took back with me all these years is we all think we're the best at what we do. But what I found out was, and I was very good at what I did, that I can teach my employees to be as good, if not better. And who I think of on that is Michael Jordan, because Michael Jordan, the basketball player, had Phil Jackson as his coach. No way. I remember Phil Jackson played for the Knicks. He sucked. But he was a good mentor to Michael Jordan because he kept him calm, he kept him focused. And I learned that from conventions too. And I bet you, George, some of the stuff you learned, you were able to pass those nuggets as a trainer for your own employees. And I bet you got some really star-type employees in there, because I learned your most valuable asset in business, in a labor-type business especially, is a good employee. I don't make any money for my company. I haven't made a dime for my company in years. The guys go out there day in and day out. They're trained by me. They're robotical, and they get the job done. I learned that at conventions.
So
hey, George, somebody's got a question for us. Can you read that question, or can you see it?
Justin Hampton.
Now, I want to tell you something. He's an ex-teacher. It wasn't his colleague. I wanted to tell you that because I know that. So you go ahead and read that question and answer it, because I think I'm going to get the right answer from you.
So I was actually going to mention this too. So when I started as a window cleaner and my business, I was 20 years old, right? A lot of ego, a lot of I'm the man, right? And I had to get through that on my own. Life beat me up a little bit. I lost a lot, and now that I'm a little older, I read a book, and it was on mentorship. That really helped me. It just helped me just like switch just a little bit, right? Because I knew, I just didn't know how to pass it on to the next guy, right?
Right.
And if you put your mindset in as a mentor, no matter if you have one employee or you're thinking about getting an employee or you're having employee problems, right? You switch that little switch in your head, and you say, okay, now I'm a mentor. I'm not their boss. I'm not their leader. I'm their mentor, and I have to teach them like they're my children, and I have to pass on the family stuff, right? And I need to have the patience for them because I'm going to be by their side forever, you know. And that's how I view. I truly do. I view my guys and my girls like that, you know. And even my family works for me, and I view it that way too. And it sucks to say it, but it's the truth.
You know what's funny? People go all the time. They'll say, "Ron, how did you get so good at sales?" And I've done more sales training than I've done sales. You know what I mean? And it's silly because you're right. If you're going to replicate or reproduce something, right, and scale it up, you cannot be the only person. You know, you have to have guys that can clean windows. I had to have guys that could sell. So I had to mentor those guys and teach those guys and train those guys to sell the way I wanted them to sell, the way I wanted to build my company, as far as the persona that I wanted them to be, the feedback that I wanted them to give out there. And people don't realize that. And that's why when you can mentor randomly, even if it's strangers, you're kind of practicing on guinea pigs. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and then you get better at it. And then you bring that into your own house and you use the best stuff.
Right.
You know,
and at the same time, don't forget, while you're doing all that, you have to, and in business, you have to create systems in order to back what you're saying up. So at the same time that you're saying, okay, well, we're going to clean, you know, this like this, you have to keep in mind that you need to be putting it into paper so your guys have something to follow. That's right. And then the next guy has the same thing to follow. So systems are,
it's like, you know what, in a sense, we all own a company. We're like the coaches to our own company. When I used to play a lot of sports as a kid, we get the playbook. The coach gave us the playbook, and everything had to be in sync. Like when I played a lot of football, the offensive lineman had to know which way to go, the guard, the tackle, the center, the running back had to know, and the coach, who was about, oh my God, I think he might have been in a wheelchair at this point. The coach really couldn't move around, but he knew it was all here. It was all here. And he passed it on to us. Yes. And so us as business owners, and Ron, you know this because you've been around. Ron's been around since 1984 in the industry. And I've been around since 1996. So between the two of us, 60 years combined. But we have it all up here. And when I go to these conventions, you know, scaling, what George was talking about, systems, that's the best way to scale is when you have systems, right? 100%. I have a different thing going on in my companies. I like to keep everything like close-knit kind of thing. But I learned a lot of this stuff from these contractors that are on these, especially with the PWNA and conventions like that. I met people with 500 plus employees, and they got systems like you can't believe. And you go to these conventions, and I want to ask George in a minute about becoming a director for both orgs, but you're like a sponge. You should be a sponge. So you go to these things. You know, here's one thing Ron was saying earlier. A lot of people leave the organization. They join. They said they got nothing out of it. They left. The thing in here is, you can't get something from nothing. In other words, if you're not going to do nothing, you ain't going to get something. So what I always did was I went to the conventions, and I would look for people like George who were enthusiastic. They felt excited. And then I look for the Dow Merzes, the Bojo Settis, the Ron Musgraves, and take that back with me because I would soak it up like a sponge. Look, Ron, let's give away a prize because we're already halfway through the show. Ron,
what do you want to give away?
All right, let's give away a prize. What was the tour? Let's give away.
What's the prize?
Well, I'm going to name it now. Well, I'll let you know after he wins it. No, I'm kidding. We're going to give away. The first one is going to be a PWNA contractor membership. If you already have a membership, obviously don't take it. Don't answer the question. None of these are transferable. So when I get these people who want it, you got to PM me afterwards or Ron, and I'll pass it on to the PWNA and then, of course, IWCA on their prize. This prize is going to be for the PWNA contractor membership. It's $349 or $350 for the year. Now here's the question: what is the tallest building that George ever rappelled down at this point in his life? What is the tallest? How many stories? That's the first question. Ron, you tell you who won it because my computer's slow. Now the question is, that's the tallest building he's ever going to do. I can see George going down the Freedom Tower in New York, all glass now. He's going to do that. He's going to do it.
Yeah, once you go over 3 stories, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's right. Because if you fall above 3 stories,
I got Justin Hampton was the first guy. He said 40 stories. Is he the winner?
Is that right, George? 40
think so,
stories,
yeah,
right?
that's the one that's the first one that popped up on mine. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got it.
Yeah, there it is.
Congratulations,
40 story. Justin, you're the winner.
Hey, let me tell you something. I'm happy he won. You know why? Because he won a free convention pass. Justin, I think he says he's only been in the business 1 year. This guy's a sponge on the net. He really is a sponge. He won a PWNA convention pass in New Orleans.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and yeah, but then because what happened, you know, thank God they canceled that convention. Very tough decision. But now look what's going
That
on.
was really hard. That was a really hard one for us.
I know. I talked to Deborah Murray, the
Yeah.
Cedar executive director. It was one of the toughest decisions they had to make.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think God was looking out for everybody. I'm not trying to be religious here. I'm not the most religious guy. But then you had the hurricane come through there. So
that too. Yeah. We should have been there on Monday. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So it would have been a bad thing. George, I want to ask you a question. And Justin, PM me. So
I gave Jay Weimer a closer hat too.
All right, there you go, Ron.
As a consolation prize for coming close. He said 52.
All right, good enough. Look at Ron. Ron's a giver. He's definitely a giver. What made you so? What did you end up doing? So you're people, in case you don't know, he's a director on both the IWCA and the PWNA, and that does take a lot of time. What made you decide to go that route? Because it does take time.
Man, like I said, I felt like it was time for me to be able to give back, and I first didn't know how. In the IWCA, I already knew how because the safety, and being a safety instructor for the IWCA, that's the way that I was already wanting to go. But when I was approached by the PWNA, I didn't know where my feet were going to get into, but I knew that safety was something that I could help with. And now that's exactly where I am. I mean, I can overall help as well, just because, having the knowledge in the industry as well. But in power washing, most power washers don't go any higher than what a lift will go. Right. And right now we're working as orgs, as both orgs, to help power washers go higher than that. So that's kind of where I'm coming into, because, we're hanging off of, taller stories and higher buildings and washing, soft washing mainly. So we're building, documents and how-tos and all of those things to help you guys out.
And you know what's big about that? The higher you go, the more money there is. A lot more money.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I mean, most insurances cover like 3 stories, like Joe Walters Insurance, who I have. So you don't see us cleaning these real tall buildings. So we go, we 3 stories down. But we do parking garages that could be 8 stories, but we're inside the building. So it's a little different. But but the insurance is a big factor on that, because the money really is, right, George? You know that. The higher you go, I'm telling you, George is going to be in New York City cleaning these high rises. I know it. It's going to be there one day. If I get a call for that, I'm calling George right away.
Yeah, please do.
And I want you to hang Ron over 100 stories. Let him see what it's like.
Ron, the ropes hold 7,690 pounds each.
I still ain't trusting that, man.
Ron's drinking like crazy. He's like, Ron's gonna be the skinniest guy in these things.
I'm not trusting that, man.
Yeah. So that's all good. It's all good. The PWNA's got a lot going on. The IWCA's got a lot going on.
Can I talk a little bit about that? Because I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, go ahead. Absolutely.
So what happened, we found out about the mandates in New Orleans. And the PWNA, like, we had emergency, meetings, like, what are we going to do? What's going to happen? And, we're in with CETA as well. So we had to have all that, go through. But this was pretty much happening while we were all in Atlanta at the huge convention.
Yes.
And, a bulb went out in my head. I'm like, wait, the IWCA is here, part of them, and the PWNA is here, part of them. So, we just met, at the lobby, and we had a conversation. And what about the fact that, this is almost happening organically, that we may be able, as the IWCA, to host the PWNA at the Orlando event, and, see what kind of turnout we may have, and luckily, both organizations decided that was a good idea. And I'm really excited about this opportunity that may not happen, again, or for some time, or it may happen the next following year. Who knows? But I'm really excited about having power washers, window cleaners, different orgs. I mean, the connections that are going to be made there are going to be incredible. And it's Orlando in February. Come on, it's going to be fun.
You know what, George? to expound on that, when I became a director for the PWNA back in 2004 in Dallas, we did a co-convention with the IWCA, which is probably the last time they did a co-convention. To this day, it's the largest convention the PWNA ever had with the IWCA. They had 700 people there in Dallas.
Cool.
And that's where I met the Kenny Cohen's, Ron knows his people, Jim Grady's, Stephen Black. I met all these people at this convention.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what a perfect marriage. Because a lot of power washing guys do window washing and vice versa.
Right.
And I'm like, I couldn't believe that all these years later, which is 17, will be 18 now, they never really hooked up. And then they came out with this statement. And, you know, and I'm very friendly with Bo. And I'm like, but this must have came somewhere. These guys must have talked somewhere because this should have happened a long time ago. And I think when bad things happen, you know, unfortunate things happen, there's always a good to things. And I think this is it's going to be a big time news next year. No doubt about it.
So let me clear it up because I'm watching the comments come through. So the IWCA is hosting the PWNA. So we're just hosting them.
Right.
The PWNA convention is still happening in October. That's still going on. That's a lockdown thing. So the PWNA is just going to be going to IWCA and also, you know, helping out with bringing vendors and all those things, obviously, just because New Orleans didn't happen. So hopefully a lot of the guys that were planning on going to New Orleans will come to Orlando and then obviously still come out for the October events.
Go to both. They should go to both.
Yeah,
I mean,
course.
Yeah, you're bringing that training trailer, I think the IWCA, right? The training trailer?
That's correct, yeah. So the PWNA has made a trailer. It's all hands-on training trailer. It's going to be traveling across the country, going to, you know, smaller events as well. Yeah, I mean, it's jam-packed. It's such a cool trailer. It's got everything in there, a lot of supply.
I want to see that.
And, you know, it even has, you know, harnesses and things like that we can, you know, talk about rooftop safety as well, not only just, you know, doing the ground stuff. So it's going to be a really cool trailer, and it will be at IWCA.
And on that note, we're going to give away another prize. We're going to give away the IWCA from Paul Collum. Ron, how long has he been executive director there? Forever, right?
Who?
Paul Collum, right?
5 or 6 years or something like that. Maybe.
He's been there a while.
He's been there a while. He's offered for this show, this one show right here, to give away the IWCA convention pass. I think for members it might be $249. For non-members, it's $349. We're going to give this away, but I'm going to turn this on myself. What year did I say that we did a tremendous convention with the IWCA? What year and what city was that in?
The year and city. Oh my gosh, no one's going to get this one.
Well, you know, they don't pay attention to me when I speak. I'm better off being in the background.
You pulled a fast one on me, John. I had all the questions written down.
Let's see. We got nothing.
No, it's not Naperville, Pete. It's not 15, Justin. He's just guessing numbers now.
Yeah, Justin, that's why he wins.
No one's guessing this one, John.
All right.
I know. I was at the convention. I don't remember the year.
Half you guys probably weren't even born back then.
I was at the convention. I know where it was at because I flew in there. But
yeah, you came and left, but I just missed you. I remember that back then. All right, let's do an IWCA thing. Let's give away this IWCA pass. What can we ask here? Hey, here's one, Ron. Let's see if they get this. I said it real fast. What year did Ron come into the industry? Started his company. They're never going to get that either.
They might. They can take cracks at this one.
I'll give you a hint.
I was born.
I'm going to give you a hint. It was 37 years ago. Let's go.
It was the year I was born. Yeah, that's right.
1800s. Eric Towers, the winner.
Yeah, Eric. What's up, Eric?
Eric, all right. Good one. Oh, we got a winner.
Oh, we got a winner. Jerry Mers.
Jerry Mers is the winner.
Congrats,
all right,
Jerry.
Wait. Jerry, if you can hear me, are you going to go to this convention? Because these aren't transferable. So if you're not going to go, we'll put another question out.
He's going.
Jerry Mers. Okay, Jerry Mers. None of this is transferable.
David Miller would be your run. No, David Miller would be your runner-up.
That's right. Yeah, David Miller. Yep, that's right.
Jerry Mers.
It's in Orlando, Jerry.
Orlando, February 7th to the 11th, right, George?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
Let's see if he's going.
Better put it back on the screen. I think that's what we got to do.
All right. Well, we'll go back to him. He's got to let us know if he's going because I really want to give this prize away.
Hey, David Miller, David Miller, PM me and I'll send you a hat. David Miller, PM me and I'll send you a hat, buddy.
And Jerry, PM me. I'm gonna get you over to the IWCA and get you that pass. Congratulations.
Awesome. Jerry Miller won it.
Yeah.
All right.
Took it down.
So we're getting near the end already.
We're at 30 minutes right now.
Yeah. Ron's got a timer. Ron's timer goes off at 30 minutes on.
It went off. It's off.
I know. That's you know what? Look, if anybody watched the Seinfeld shows back in the day, the shows were only 22 minutes long. It was the number one show in the world. 22 minutes long. They had commercials, the other 8 minutes in there because they knew what people's mindsets were. They stay focused, and after a while, they're gone. So we're gonna end this soon. We got some more prizes to give away. But what else we asked George? So George, so your company, where is your company located out of? Like, where's your central headquarters?
We're out of Kansas City, and we travel across all the 48 states. So we primarily right now go to the south. We go anywhere from Kansas down to Texas and over all the way to Georgia and then up to Virginia, and then that's kind of our.
George, what's your favorite place to wash windows? The Bahamas?
New Orleans, man.
You love New Orleans?
Love New Orleans.
Party town.
I get to work during the day and just go to dinner at night, right?
That's it. And work all day. Man,
Yeah,
I don't want to be on no ropes after a night in New Orleans, man.
And then if you get done at 4 o'clock in the morning, the bars are still open.
That's right.
Never close.
There.
I guess if you come home with rope marks on your wrist, though, it's no big deal.
Where's George? He's at the bar. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. They're still open. I love New Orleans, too. I'm so disappointed. Well, what are you going to do? I mean, I like when these conventions. I love Florida. I got a house in South Florida. Florida to me, I love Florida and Texas a lot outside of New York. I mean, New York, I got my business here. But I love when you go to, I love Charleston was so nice.
Yeah, Charleston was fun.
Oh, yeah. Charleston was nice. I mean, the place I went in Florida, Orlando. I love Orlando. I mean, you can't go wrong there. You got Disney right down the road.
Yeah.
New Orleans, I got a lot of great memories and a lot of things I won't admit to. I mean, Ron, what was your favorite place? You've been all over the place doing a convention. Arizona's cool.
I'll tell you right now, man, I think Charleston was one of the most beautiful cities I went to have a convention in. I really liked it there. I really did.
Savannah's cool too.
And Savannah is nice. I've done some in Savannah. It's pretty cool stuff.
And we also did Memphis with the PWNA when I was on the convention committee. And we also did Nashville. And the 3 places that I was involved with was Dallas, Ohio. We did one in Ohio. That was a well-attended convention. And we also did one in Memphis. Memphis was a lot of fun. Blues town. You like the blues? B.B. King was alive back then. He had the B.B. King bar was right there. Nice. There's a lot of stories. And you know what? The big thing with these conventions is the networking. And a lot of it's done at the bar, the restaurants. I mean, you can't find that in your own area. Like my family, my daughters and stuff, they get bored. They're like, Dad, stop talking power washing. Hey, Dad, I need a new car. All right, here you go.
That's why I keep going. That's what I love to talk about.
Yeah, me too. Passion is a big thing. And that's why I've been doing this for 26 years. And I'm 60 now, and I am selling my company in 20 more years from now. I'm going to go until I'm 80. I love this.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool.
It's very, very cool. All right, so, Ron, we got a couple more we have to give away. So we got 2 prize winners already. We have the PWNA certification class free giveaway at the IWCA convention. What can we ask? Hey, George, any questions you want to ask?
Let's see.
You can throw a curveball or something, just a little curveball.
Let me think. So let's talk safety. How about that? That'd be a little bit of fun for the guys. Let's see if when you're on a ladder, are you able to use both hands when you're at the top, or is there a rule there against that? So are you able to be on the ladder working like this, or do you have to be holding on with one hand?
Okay, got to answer that. One or two hands. Which one, guys?
I think my guys might have violated that a couple of times. Oops.
So is no the correct answer?
I don't even know the answer to that.
Well, it would be, yeah, one hand would be, or sorry, you
One
can use
hand.
2 hands. 2 hands is the correct answer. You can use both hands as long as you're not moving up or down the ladder.
So you're saying if you're on a ladder, like let's say an A-frame ladder or a ladder against a building, you can use, as long as you're not going up and down, you
That's
can clean
correct.
with both
So
hands?
3 points of contact only come in when you're going up and down the ladder. If you once you're stable, you can use both hands.
Nice.
Oh, I didn't
Okay.
even know that.
Well, that's good to know. So
Who
no
won that,
one
Scott?
got no one got 2 hands as far as I can see.
Wait, somebody said 3 parts of your body. Is that fair too?
No, it's only when you're going up the ladder.
Sideways, yeah.
Wow.
So that's something that nobody knows.
Yeah, think about an electrician, right? When he's going up there, he's got to use both hands to do all.
Yeah, right.
Once you're stable, you can actually.
Wow.
Yeah, you can use both hands. Now, going up and down the ladder, you cannot. You have to always have the 3 points of contact.
You know who's got a great class and all that? It's Michael Draper.
That's right. Yeah.
1910, what is it, 1910 OSHA?
Yeah, the 1910, yeah. So the 1910 covers ladder safety, rooftop safety. There's a whole bunch of things that go into ladder safety, like going, up the ladder and down the ladder, the actual stability of the ladder, going onto another surface, working on another surface.
Right.
It covers power washing. It covers chemicals. It covers electrical safety. Yeah, that's a really good class. I highly recommend it for everybody. If you're part of the PWNA, now it's a requisite to be able to take any of their certifications. You have to have the 1910, and the IWCA also offers it. It's backed up by both orgs. So, and then now also OSHA requires you to have competent people out in the field. So how do you prove to OSHA that your people are competent? You prove it by having a certification like the OSHA 1910.
So let me ask you, George, when a company's out there and they're all power washing, is it okay for them to wear Crocs?
No, definitely not.
I put that post up the other day. People are like, John, you don't live in the South. I got a house in the South.
Well.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't, owner-operators can do most anything, right, George? Owner-operator?
Yeah, OSHA does not rule over the owner.
Yeah, so my thought process on that when they gave me these bad answers, most of these guys are owner-operators, but some of them said they have employees. I'm like, oh, my God. OSHA drives around, because I deal with this commercial stuff. They come around in a regular vehicle. They don't come around with a vehicle with lights. Woo! They were in their own vehicle, the vehicle they drove to work. We cleaned a bunch of Starbucks a few years ago. We did 6 or 7 of these new construction cleanups, and one of the companies got hammered. When I was just pulling up there, they were getting hammered because they had the guys on the ladders, and they were violating all the rules.
Yeah,
they were climbing over this thing. Whatever they were doing, they broke some rules, and they got multiple summonses to appear, whatever they had to appear for OSHA. And I'm like, you know what? Safety is the most important thing you can have for your guys.
right.
Because you can make all the money in the world. They fall down and break their spine.
Yep.
I always said your wealth. I do this in my garage classes. Your wealth is in your health. It really is. It's not in your money. It's in your health.
That's right. You can't, you just imagine how much you're going to lose by losing the employee, how much the employee is going to lose by losing a limb or, breaking their back. Even just, a small injury, but still that's going to keep them out for 2 weeks. Like they lose a lot. So it's an overall loss. And if you can, to put them through a class like the OSHA 1910, it's about a 4-hour class. You can do it online. The PWNA has it. The IWCA has it online. And Draper as well at Expert Safety Services. It's extremely beneficial, and you can use it to your advantage, especially nowadays with working in commercial more than anything. But residential, we started pushing safety, back in about 2009, and now that's getting it's getting to be popular or something like that.
And I'm going to put this out there. And I was a cop for 25 years. A lot of this stuff. Safety is most important. It really is. But also what's going on now, especially with DOTs over here in New York.
Right.
People, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was a cop. We had to do so many summonses and whatnot. We're not supposed to say that. Some of this stuff is money grabs. So you have OSHA coming by maybe last year or 2-3 years ago, they might give you a warning. And today, no one's messing around no more because
Right.
everybody's short on cash. They don't want. First of all, if somebody gets hurt, it costs the state a lot of money to start out with. It costs insurance companies a lot of money, and also when they write these tickets, they're doing their job. If you're compliant, they can't write you a ticket.
Right. So in when the rules changed back in 2018, OSHA included the word residential. Before it was only in commercial.
Wow, I didn't know that either.
Now residential is in full effect as well as commercial has been always.
Yeah, people don't realize OSHA drives up in a Toyota Corolla, whatever it is. They see you on a house. They got one of your employees hanging off the chimney.
Right.
They're gonna hammer you.
Yep.
And I tell you, I don't know what their fines are, but I know DOT fines are tremendous.
Yep. 100%. Yeah. You can go out of business real quick.
Yeah, I'm going to court soon on what happened to us.
Jeez.
Probably going to cost me $4,000 or $5,000. It was, here's people don't want to hear this. I used to open court as a cop, so ignorance in the court of law never is an answer. You can't say, "Oh, I didn't know."
Right.
So we got caught on something that really was my fault. It was really stupidness on my end that I didn't have the fire extinguisher in the truck. I have DOT numbers. I didn't put on the truck. I didn't have the triangles. It was my fault. My crew went out and they got burnt on these things. And I'm probably gonna get $1,000 minimum fine each. And I knew this stuff, but I didn't realize that this truck is 9900's GVWR. It's a flatbed, but I didn't realize that I needed a DOT on that. But what got us in trouble was they were towing a trailer. So I'm going to have to go in court. And I know ignorance in the court of law doesn't work. So these safety classes like Michael Draper's teaching, and even his certification class, you learn a lot of stuff in there that's safety as well. I mean, you're going to deal with hydroxides and stuff like that and acids. You want to know
that's where the PWNA also comes in play with what we're talking about, because they have environmental. So you can take a certification on that and get to know a little more in regards to that. Are you wearing sandals in that? Or
Ron, I sent Ron that picture today. Ron.
Oh,
well, okay, hold on. In my defense, I was in San Diego. I was in the swimming pool, and they couldn't get a machine started. And they're hollering at me. I'm in the swimming pool. They go, "I can't get the machine started." I said, "Look, man, we got a backup machine. We can't find a backup machine." So I had to run out of there with my flip-flops on, go over and start the dang machine, and somebody snaps a picture of me, of course, in my sandals.
That's okay. Ron's an owner-operator. We don't have to worry about it.
Well, let's just be real. We've all done stupid things, right?
Education
is huge, right? Education is huge, and I'm sure you know a guy that knows a guy, or you probably know them personally, that have gotten hurt pretty bad. So let's just
we know. Me and Ron know a guy that died. Teddy Watson.
Let's take it serious, man.
Fell off the roof in the summertime in around 2014. He actually fell off a roof, out of action for maybe a week, got a little bruised up. 3 months later, he was over in Seattle, Washington. If Ron, you can correct me if I'm wrong. We knew him. He went on a roof, and he fell. He fell, bounced off the other roof, and landed on the cement, and was in a coma and died. We knew him pretty well. That's somebody we knew. We know a lot of stories. I mean, parking garage, I know stories of guys dying from carbon monoxide poisoning. But these things are all out there, and it just takes one incident like that.
Yeah. I mean, that one that we just recently happened, the 16-year-old boy fell off the roof. The father sent him up to shoot a spot he couldn't reach, and the kid fell off. I mean, I couldn't imagine having to come home and tell my wife, Johnny's not here anymore. You know what I mean? And I sent him up on the roof to shoot a wall I couldn't reach.
What about these water-fed poles?
A guy just
electrocuted himself.
Yeah, electrocuted himself. Yeah, and that's happened. I mean, I can't even count the times that's happened. I mean, it's just it's a senseless thing, because if we just tell guys, if we just make it regular deal. I got to tell you something, George. We all know Steve Blight, and he gave me a great idea. So with our events now that we run, we do about 5 events a year. We have segments where we change out speakers 5 times a day.
Right.
So what we're going to do is we're going to do safety shorts between the presentations.
Very cool.
Shorts. Because we know,
it's not sexy, man.
Safety's not first. It's not first. You want to get real? It's not first, but it should be. It really should be, because when somebody goes blind, loses a limb, loses their life, it's not the call we want. And really quick, I just got to tell this. I got to tell this thing. Guys, hear me. Here's my pet peeve. Get rid of the gas tanks. I'm going to do a safety short. Get rid of the gas tanks. A very dear person in the 90s, he had worked for me. I did fleet wash for about 10 years. I didn't want to do any fleet wash. I sold my fleet wash business off, and I started on my journey on doing cleaning sidewalks. Hence, that's where we're at, where we wound up.
Yeah.
But he loved doing fleets. So I supported him as an entrepreneur going off on his own and doing fleets. He bought a big box truck. He was doing very well. It was like 1994, and I got the call from his wife. He was pouring gasoline in over the top of a hot engine inside the box truck, and the whole box truck blew. And he died on arrival at the hospital from using. And that's why I tell these guys, get fuel cells, get them vented properly. It'll save you time. It'll prevent theft, because we know what happens to the gas cans, right? Employees take off with them, or fill their own cars. Right. And guys don't realize, you get the fuel cell, you fill up twice a week instead of every night. You don't have to. You got a big fuel cell. It's vented properly out of the truck, or even okay. I know somebody in an open trailer that burned the place down. It doesn't have to be enclosed. A fire with those gas cans, just get rid of them. Get rid of them. It's stupid. That's my rant.
That's a great idea, though, Ron. Seriously, because safety is not sexy, right? So if you split it up in those little things, kind of like what we just did over to the ladder, right? How long did that take? It was a 1 minute thing, and a lot of people hopefully learned that, and now they'll remember it, right? So something like that, that's a really good idea.
You know what? There's other ways too. Like, we used to do a lot of staining, and I'm sure Everett Abrams could talk about that. One of my trailers went on fire. We had a yard space about 2 miles from my house, and my wife's in the other room. She could tell you. I got a call at 2 o'clock in the morning. They're like, you have to come down to the yard space. My trailer engulfed in flames. 10 hours after the guy used it.
Hey, I'm gonna finish this segment up like this, John, because we're 47 minutes. Right. Okay. We're gonna be real here.
Let me just get to the end of the story. I want to get to the end of the story. Because what happened was, my guys stayed in the house. This is 2 o'clock in the morning. They were done like, let's say, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and they left the tarps in the trailer folded up. And what happens? They had that reaction. They just puffed up and smoked. Right. 8 hours after the fact. My trailer, Ron, my 18-foot trailer, beautiful trailer. When the fire department shows up, they wreck everything in sight. I'm saying that because I'm an ex-cop. I love firemen. Because it's locked. Instead of cutting the locks, they broke a hole through the side of my trailer, took their hoses and blasted everything. Spontaneous combustion. That's what it was.
Right.
And these things people don't realize can happen. So, yeah, you got to be careful. We're on the 48th minute, Ron. We have to give away the second prize.
John, I'm going to tell you something. This is a cool thing. This will make people think. First and foremost, guys, join the PWNA IWCA show. It's going on in Orlando, February 7th and 11th. IWCA.org, PWNA.org. Go there, check out the information. Go to the show, man. Orlando's a great place. I just tell everybody this. The next year at the Power Clean Show, and I'm going to let this out of the bag, everybody's joining forces, right, George? At the Power Clean Show next year?
I'm not part of the convention. So
everybody's joining forces next year. We're all going to be in the same
roof. We could do
We're going to be in the same roof at the same time. Yep. We just admitted that safety's not sexy, but I'm going to help these guys out a little bit tonight. John, I want you and George to think about this. What is your number one? I don't want to say workers' compensation claim, but let's say what's your number 1, 2, and 3 accident? I'm going to give you mine. Obviously, people don't realize this. Driving a vehicle is the most dangerous thing anybody can do. But my number one thing, and I'll go to my number 2 after you say your number 1. My number 1 thing has been eye problems. People getting stuff in their eyes. That's probably been my number 1 accident. And no matter what we do, we try to tell them, I don't want to call them knuckleheads, but we tell them wear their glasses, but they don't do it, and then they have an eye problem. What's your number 1 thing, John? Chemical. What do you think it is?
It's going to be chemical problems. My guys just got stepped in sodium hydroxide. They got it on their face.
So burns.
They do graffiti removal. They pit it up their faces. Yeah, it's chemical burns. Yeah.
In our industry, because I'm telling you, I'm lucky enough. I think with the one accident that happened maybe 2 years ago was a twisted ankle, but
Twisted ankle.
for our company. But it's ladders.
Ladders are number one, right?
Hey,
So
who
my
here fell off a ladder? I fell off.
Really?
so John, my number
Yeah,
two,
6'8" frame. I took a nasty fall off.
Yeah.
my number two is chemicals, and I'll just tell you my number three. You won't believe this. Number three, hands in shopping carts. Is that some stupid stuff?
You're cleaning. You must be cleaning shopping carts.
To the point where we don't move them anymore. You understand? We don't move them. If we can't contract a place that they moves their own carts, we stop doing them. They had to move their own. And I mean, seriously, the guys would call up and go, "I'm at the emergency room. I just, I snapped off my finger, or I jammed up my hand in the thing. I broke my wrist." It's unbelievable how these guys would hurt themselves with shopping carts. Crazy.
Hey, Ron,
what's your
I'm
number
two?
two?
Price.
Well, what's your number two, though, John? I want to hear what your number two is.
Listen, my guys.
You don't want to admit it?
No, I'm going to tell you.
John?
No, I'm going to tell you from experiences. My guys got into a couple of car accidents. One of them, the lady was texting, bounced off their truck, hit another car, and went down the embankment. Critical injuries. We never got in trouble, but I could have been in trouble here because the guys worked like 20 straight hours in a parking garage. Instead of staying at the hotel, we were coming back. And DOT is supposed to document all the time driving the car. So, Ron, I'm gonna give a prize away. But what's George's number two?
I would say razor blades.
I cut myself.
Yeah, they cut themselves with damn razor blades.
Tetanus shot. Get a tetanus shot afterwards.
Yeah. I wouldn't even let my guys. I wouldn't even let my guys carry a sharp object, man.
Right.
All right, Ron. Let's give away the other prize. With me and Ron, promise not to go more than 35 minutes because we want to give the people what they want.
It's 51.
We want to keep excited about George. Third and last prize tonight, and this is an easy one. You got to go to our IWCA convention. Now, this is the PWNA giveaway once again. I want to thank Lietpo, all of them. Oh, we got those too. Ron can give those out next. But this next big prize is the certification class. You have to be at the IWCA convention. You can get either house washing, roof washing, flat work, or wood restoration. They value between $199 and $295. Here's the question, people. Answer it only if you're going to go to the convention because these aren't transferable. What are the dates of the IWCA convention? What are the 2 days from what to what? Not the 1, the 2.
That's the easy one.
It's February, but what are the dates? I don't see nothing yet. Oh my God. Maybe we have to give one number.
There you go.
Oh yeah, Hampton got this guy's on the ball. Justin Hampton's always he's a sponge. I see.
What do you see, Ron?
Oh, I see.
I got Jerry again. That's what I see.
Jerry as well. I got Jerry here.
All right.
Did he win the same ticket?
No, he won a ticket to the convention free.
Yeah, so he got free, and now he got a certification.
Nice. Certification for free.
Yeah, he's got to go.
You know what? Let's tell Jerry he won the jackpot then. Jerry, go ahead and PM me. You also want a pressure washing guidebook, and we'll give you a hat too. So Jerry's got the jackpot.
Give Justin Hampton a second place in that because he's new. Give him a book. You want to give?
I'll give him a power wash guidebook too, but I think he's got one.
That one got one. All right, so Jerry, what class you want to take? I'm going to tell the PWNA. You want the roof washing, house washing, flat work, or wood restoration? You got to pick one of those. Let me know, and I'll send it to the PWNA.
Jerry, I'll give you a save up some money and take all of them, man. You'll learn so much.
Look at George, always thinking, huh, Ron? These young guys are always thinking now. All right, that's great. And Ron, so I think we gave out all the gifts, right?
Yeah, I've got a cookbook. I'm going to give it away. I don't know what I'm going to do with that cookbook. I'm going to give it away
next week. We got to do another. Me and Ron are doing one more show for the
I'll give another cookbook away next week.
All right.
They're Craig's cookbooks. I don't care if I give them away.
Well, then
why don't we do this?
Let's
give Justin. Instead of a cookbook, let's give him his choice of a gallon of F9 products. Go ahead.
He wants a cookbook. He wants.
Go ahead. I know. PM me, and I'm going to tell him what I'm going to do. If he PMs me on the gallon of F9 that he wants, and then he does a video about the Gallon F9. Guess what? He won a cookbook. How's
There
that?
you go.
All right,
Nice.
let's close this show out. I want to
Do it, John.
What's that, Ron?
Do it, John. Do
All right,
it.
everybody, drum roll here. I want to, first of all, thank my partner, Ron, for coming on the show again with me. We're going to do another show next week. But before we do, I want to thank Jorge Aguilar for coming on our show. It's amazing. He serves both organizations. He's serving the people that belong to those orgs. And you guys should join them both, man. It's only going to benefit your company. And George, God bless, and thanks for coming on our show. We appreciate
Thanks
it.
a
My
lot,
pleasure.
George. We
Thank you,
appreciate
guys.
it.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you,
Okay.
John.
Thank you.
You got
Love you
it.
guys.
Same here,
Well,
man.
John.
And Ron, wait, I'm going to say next week's show, we got Al. We're doing one more show, Ron and I, fully for the PWNA here. And this is going to be PWNA CETA next week. It's going to be Al Boniface. He's the senior VP of the CETA org. He's going to be on the show. And Bojo Setti, if you're out there, we want to close out this PWNA shows that we do with Bo to be the last speaker on our show.
Bo knows. I
Bo
love
knows.
saying Bo knows. That's like a dang good thing there, man. It's like the best
What a
slogan.
good show, Ron.
Bo knows. We're gonna have
Bo knows.
Bo knows. You know what I'm saying?
He knows, man.
Hey guys, IWCA, PWNA guys, 7th through the 11th on February in Orlando, guys. Go check it out. Get there.